Did you know the shortest war in history was over before you could even finish watching an episode of your favorite sitcom? It lasted a mere 38 minutes. Stick around, because this story is absolutely wild. Picture this. It's August 1896, on the beautiful island of Zanzibar, just off the coast of East Africa. At the time, Zanzibar was a protectorate of the mighty British Empire. This meant that while it had its own Sultan, Britain had a lot of say in who got to sit on the throne. Everything was running relatively smoothly under the pro-British Sultan, Hamad bin Thawani. But on August 25th, he suddenly died in his palace. Now, the official story was a sudden illness, but many historians whisper that it might have been a bit more, shall we say, orchestrated? Before the British could even react, the Sultan's cousin, Khalid bin Bargash, seized the opportunity. He moved into the palace, declared himself the new Sultan, and barricaded himself inside with about 2,800 loyal followers. The problem? Britain didn't want Khalid. They had their own preferred candidate, Hamad bin Mohammed, who was much more likely to cooperate with their interests. The British consul, Basil Cave, wasn't about to let this slide. He immediately sent an ultimatum to Khalid. Stand down, leave the palace, and lower your flag by 9 a.m. on August 27th, or face the consequences. Essentially, it was the 19th century equivalent of, you have 1 hour. Khalid, however, was feeling confident. He believed the British were just bluffing. He had his armed supporters, a few cannons, and even a royal yacht, the HHS Glasgow, which was armed with a Gatling gun. He sent a reply basically saying, thanks, but no thanks. I'm the Sultan now. He probably thought he could call their bluff. Well, as you can guess, the British were not bluffing. As the deadline approached, they assembled a powerful naval squadron in the harbor, right in front of the Sultan's palace. We're talking 5 modern warships: the HMS Philomel, the HMS Raccoon, the HMS Sparrow, the HMS Thrush, and the heavily armed cruiser, the HMS St. George. They had a clear line of sight to the wooden palace. The minutes ticked by. 8:55 a.m., 8:58 a.m. The atmosphere in the harbor must have been incredibly tense. The Zanzibari forces were watching from the palace, and the British sailors were at their guns, waiting for the order. At exactly 9:02 a.m., with no sign of surrender from Khalid, the British warships opened fire. The bombardment was devastating. The palace, made mostly of wood, was no match for modern naval artillery. It was immediately engulfed in flames and began to crumble. Khalid's cannons tried to fire back, but they were quickly silenced. The Zanzibari royal yacht, the HHS Glasgow, heroically fired on the British fleet and was promptly sunk. Inside the palace, chaos reigned. The shelling was relentless. Khalid, realizing he had made a catastrophic miscalculation, fled the palace through a back exit and sought refuge in the German consulate. He knew the British wouldn't dare attack German sovereign territory. By 9:40 a.m., just 38 minutes after the first shot was fired, the shelling stopped. The Sultan's flag was shot down, the palace was a smoldering ruin, and the war was over. The British had won, with only one sailor slightly injured. On the Zanzibari side, however, there were around 500 casualties. The British quickly installed their preferred candidate, Hamad bin Mohammed, as the new Sultan, and he ruled for the next 6 years, ensuring British interests were protected. As for Khalid, he lived in the German consulate for a while before being smuggled out of the country. And that, my friends, is the incredible, almost unbelievable story of the Anglo-Zanzibar War, the shortest war in recorded history, a 38-minute conflict that reshaped the leadership of a nation. It's a powerful, if brutal, reminder of the might of the British Empire at its peak and a fascinating, bite-sized piece of world history. What do you think? It's crazy how quickly history can happen, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this dive into the past, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing historical stories, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.